it's Ingus from IGS Electronics, and today we are going to continue with the Danfoss micro drive FC51 series, and we are going to look into running this drive into a remote mode. And there's a couple of ways you can do that, and we're going to look at least two of them. If we have time left, we might look into a multi frequency control as well. The first thing we're going to look at, very basic control to start up with this, to jump from front keypad control. You just click auto on button. You don't need to go in any settings to change anything. By clicking auto, it automatically switches the whole system to CAM controls from the little digital inputs in front. So it uses them to now on to control the driver from there. This is a very basic and very, what we call a lazy way of setting up. There's got to be some ways, some sort of safety systems integrated to be able to run this drive on a motor or equipment you're running safely. But we're going to look at today. We're basically only going to look at a quick start guide, and then how to set up quickly, and then obviously I'll show you the proper way how it should be done, which as you can see down here, I have a little small rig that's been set up to run the drive, but that will be again for some different videos. So at the moment we're only concentrating on the drive and drive itself, how to control, very basic way. Once you got it, then just get up and running. First things first, I'm going to show you if the drive's been bought used and you don't know what parameters has been changed, and you don't really want to go through and try and find out what change has been made down there. First things first, we're going to set the drive to reset it completely, so all the settings go back to manufacturer settings. So once you look at the manual, which I'll show you if I can. So basically, when you come into the setting up, when you look at your little manual, these are all default settings, and so you don't have to mess around in something when you set up like this and doesn't work. You know that the parameters has been changed, which you can play a little bit in a minute, how they changed and why they've been changed. There's so many things you can do with it, but we're going to do only very basic stuff. So first things first, I'll show you how to reset the drive. Factory reset is, if you click a menu, again go for 14. Ooh, not too much. Click OK, then go all the way up to 1422, and it says in the 0 in here, and when you press OK, if you change that to 2, press save, and then you have to sort of depower a drive. So we're going to remove the power, wait till the power goes down, so you'll discharge capacitors, and once that's done, you put it back on. And it says AL80 is flashing alarm. So all you need to do is press reset and press OK. So now this way your drive is fully reset and is ready to go from factory settings. So now that we have done full reset, we can now follow the little guide, which, let me just zoom out a little bit, that Danfoss has put in their beautiful little book. So first things first, we're going to do a very basic. We're going to use a selector switch and a stop switch, which is basically like that. Something very simple like that. It's sort of a get you going thing, what I call, but if there's some very systems that needs to be more guarded or protected, and there could be a danger of life, in this kind of setup, I don't think it will do. You're gonna have to have some sort of safe isolation, which you're gonna be playing some other videos later on. So for very basic, very simple, I call it the lazy way, we're gonna be doing it like that. So if we could quickly have a look at the digital inputs, so like that. You can see number 12 here is your source, where your 24 volt DC source comes out. There's a number 18 on the basic setup. It is your start. So basically, as soon as that number 18 receives a signal from number 12, basically closes the loop, which you can do with any selector switch. It will go forwards, and then obviously number 19 it's for reverse, number 27 is for reset, and number 29 is for jog. But bear in mind, most of these inputs in here start from 18 all the way to 29 and possibly 33. Need to look at the manual, most like 33 as well. You can actually program them. There's so many things you can do with them. And then there's just the basic factory preset to get you going. That's that. But if you want to make changes, I'll show you in a minute in the manual what sort of possibilities you can have by changing data or sort of functionality of each one of those inputs. So let me wire the basic setup in and switch and see how it works. We have wired it in, so basically it looks like that. We just wired it in and show you a little bit of the back. So from number 12. It comes to normally open signal in, goes through the normal open contact, goes to the there you go, normally closed, goes into normal close, goes through, goes into normally open, basically like a little loop, and goes all the way back to number 18. This is how it looks like from the front. Very, very crude thing to do. So if you wanted to get your drive going and motor spinning, that's about all you need to do. So to jump from home, from keypad to a remote control, just literally press auto, and that's it. It automatically switches from there to there, which is quite simple. And I forgot to mention these three cables, which is 50, 53 and 55, is my potentiometer, which comes to different station. So like that, a station like that, which I have pre-built, which is later on will be part of a integrated system in here. So basically potentiometer goes into there. This is where there's a single turn, so basically turns only once from one end to another. So pretty much that's what we're going to be using for our control on the speed. So let's check it out. So all you need to do is you close it down with a selector switch. It closes the loop, and when potentiometer, as you can see the motor, I'll show the motor in a minute. Goes. The acceleration times is 10 seconds up and down, or maybe less. Can't actually remember now. So yeah, that's pretty much. That's a very, very, very crude and simple system. Your potentiometer here, and pretty much you close the loop from 12 to 18, and that is just to get the drive going. So now let's have a look at integrating a bit more extra, where we're gonna integrate we can do sort of a latched circuit, which you are able to do that in a system. I'll show you in a minute how to change some parameters in for the 18 and for the 19 or for the 20, whichever you're going to choose, to be able to have some more or less a latched circuit. So let me get all prepped and I'll show you how that works. Now that we have wired in a different station, as obviously you can see, it's got quite a bit more, actually double amount of little cables coming out. So and then we're going to be using a little station like this for starting, stopping, and for direction, and obviously potentiometer we will have on a little station down there. So how this will work is going to be absolutely different. For this kind of setup, unfortunately, you do have to make changes to some parameters, and to make you understand, show you more or less what that means. If you look at the section 510, you can see it's giving you a huge list of what these each parameters can be and can do. There's another section down here. What each of those you can do, you can play with it. Oh my god, there's so many options you can do to play with it, however you want to do it. So when you can see this, it says in here. Ooh, shows in here. This is for the term digital input 18. We can do it for 19, 27, 29, and a 33. But 33 is a little bit different. But you can change those around a little bit. So in our case, because we want now, so when we press the stickers at the wiring, if you look at it now, as I spoke before, this is a bit messy, but so we have number 12, which is our source, which is our source, comes to all the ends of all the switches. So they all get source. Basically, each one of these switches receives its independent source power from number 12, and then it basically, once these states changes down here, it initiates the signal back to the drives. You can see one down here. That one is red, which is normally closed, which is quite bizarre, because from when I looked at the Danfoss wiring diagrams, I could not find anything anywhere of how the wiring would work. So basically, this for the system to be able to work, what we're going to set up in a minute, the stop signal that has to have a permanent alive going back to one of the digital inputs. Oop, just fell out. So to make that a bit more understandable, I'll show you what that means in parameters itself. So to be able to make changes, let's get into parameters in there, a bit closer. We're gonna need to change digital input number 18 down here into latched start. As you can see, it's latched start. So when the start happens, when we press the start signal, it basically starts the drive, and when you let the button go, it will keep the drive going. So to do that, again, we click the menu, again, go to the section 5, quite a nice section separation, click that one, and as you can see, it shows 510, in our case 510, which is for terminal 18. We want that to be latch start, so we need to change that to digital number 9. So we do that, we save that. So now we go back a little bit, oh no, back. And now the another digital number we need to change, because we have in here start, stop, and we sort of thrown in a directional switch as well, so we can change direction of the drive if we want to. But that's very simple. That's something we don't need to change. We just need to change now digital input, because by default, as you can see, number 19, it says reversing, so we're not going to touch that. We'll leave that as is. Number 19 from 20 joins up with the 12, and basically the drive goes opposite way. So the next one we can use, which is the factory default, is reset. We're going to change that to a stop. So again, go for it. We're already there. So 5. We need to go for the 12. Is it 12? Yeah, and we're going to change that to stop, which is a 6. Ooh, back one bit. I'm going to save that. And now that we go back to the menu, now the parameters has been changed. We go into a again, switch from into the control mode from the digital inputs, and now by clicking, by pressing start, I just change the frequency a bit. Drive is on, and if you want to stop it, you just click the stop button. So basically you programmed the system to be in other drives, but it's called 3-wire system. And this system, because Danfoss doesn't really, I'm not sure, they don't advertise this kind of way of doing it, but if you want to, you can. It's basically for that purpose, to change the parameters around, so you can press start if you want to use your existing system. Let's have a look at it down there. And also potentiometer is already wired in, then there's no changes required for that one. And I'll show you the motor in a minute. And to stop it, and by flipping the switch, the drive now is gonna go the opposite way. You can do it live when the drive is working. It's just gonna stop, as you can hear it, and start turning the opposite way. So that's pretty much what I would call a 3-wire system. This is quite, I like this system, the most simpler system this way, because it's more some sort of controllable. But this way, whichever way we showed now, it's sort of it's okay, but you have to have some sort of way of isolating things, which we're going to look into. So when I say isolating, I mean isolating power from the motor, because electronics do fail. And when, say, something happens and you click that stop button and the stop button doesn't work, you've got to have some way of isolating or disconnecting power from the motor. And that's why this kind of system comes in, which where we will have a look at it in the next video, how that's been wired in and how that is working. So from here, so basically how it works again, so on through again, a little bit of wiring. You send your it's a bit closer. Ooh. You send your source from the drive, which is the 12, onto all the buttons, and flip them across, basically in parallel, all of them, and then send all the signals back to the relevant digital inputs down there where they need to go in. And as I showed you already, which parameters you need to change for this kind of system to work. So this way your drive is up and running. We already spoke about how to wire in the motor and things like that. There's a lot of videos, we already made quite a few videos of everything like that. So a little bit of, and right in the next video we have a look at how to set up a bit more sort of what I would call, show you. Here, now we got it, and back out. So basically system like that, so where we can, because with this switch down here I can completely isolate the motor, so there's no power going to the motor at all. So but that, we'll look at that in a different video. So we're going to look at the system like that in the next video. So so pretty much that is it with this kind of system, with this kind of control. We play it again, but we can actually see the motor as well. So start. It's the motor down there. Stop. Direction change. Start. Stop. And so you can start, and you can flip the switch and it's going to go on the opposite way. That's pretty much it for the basic remote connections. Obviously there's a lot more you can do. There's a lot more you can do and play with it, and if you look at the little menus in here, there's so much you can play with parameters if you really want to get stuck in and play with all. There's a reference that you can have 3 different reference points. You can, and obviously 3 different actually the control points itself. You can have the 3 different references to start with the separate each switch, so pre-selected reference points. You can have that as well, again, but just changing some of the digital inputs and outputs, which I already show you how they are and how they're working. There's many things you can do if you really want to play with it and run with it. That is perfectly fine. So that will do for this Danfoss remote control. We know how to reset the drive. We know how to set up two basic systems. One is very simple, and one is a little bit more complicated, but it does the job. If you like the video, please select like, and I will see you in the next video.